What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new 2019 iPad mini 5th generation, and this is going to be the first iPad mini to be released since 2015. So it's been about 4 years since we've seen a new iPad mini. And it's actually a similar case with the new iPad Air that I just unboxed and reviewed. That also had not seen a refresh since 2014. So I'm excited to try both the iPad mini and the iPad Air out. And fun fact, I actually bought the first ever iPad and then I didn't upgrade to another iPad until the 2nd generation iPad mini was released. And then after the iPad mini 2 was released, I bought the mini 3 and the mini 4, but no other iPads until the iPad Pro last year in 2018. So I'm clearly a fan of the iPad mini line, so I'm pretty excited to unbox this guy right here. All right, so after we unbox this iPad mini here and go through everything in the packaging and set it up and everything like that, we're going to talk specs, we're going to compare it to other iPads, basically just going to do a first impressions review, and I'm going to let you guys know whether or not I think you should buy it or if you should upgrade to it. All right, so taking a look at the box, you can see it's very similar to the iPad Air box and pretty much your typical iPad box there. You can see on the side, we do have iPad mini. On the back here, you can see I did get the 64GB model, just the Wi-Fi. And we do have an easy open tab right here, so we'll just peel that tab. Makes it very simple to open on up. Now we can just go ahead and take the top off just like so. And you can see the iPad right there. And we have the white bezels, not the best looking, but you can see the iPad right away. So let's go ahead and take the iPad out and set it off to the side. Let's take a look at what else is in the box. So we have the lightning cable right here. We also have our Design by Apple in California pamphlet right here. If we take that on out, you can see we have our wall charger right there. And then inside this pamphlet, of course, we will have the Apple stickers and our Get Started guide. There are the stickers. So let's just go ahead and set this off to the side and take a look at the iPad itself. All right, so let's go ahead and take this plastic off. That is the sound of a fresh new Apple product. So let's go ahead and boot the iPad mini 5th generation up. Should have some juice. There we go. So now would be a good time to talk about pricing. So the iPad mini 5 comes in 2 variants. It comes in a 64 and a 256 gig variant. Of course, you have Wi-Fi only, and then you have Wi-Fi plus LTE. The 64 gigabyte Wi-Fi only is $399. If you want to go LTE, that is $529. For the 256 gig variant, that starts at $549 for just Wi-Fi and goes up to $679 for Wi-Fi plus LTE. So let's go ahead and go through the setup screen here on the new iPad mini. Let's go ahead to English. And man, this is just the perfect device if you don't like those big iPads, but you want something a little bit bigger than your phone. I just love typing on the iPad mini versus other iPads. So we'll just continue through all of these. We're going to set up Touch ID real fast. This is the latest iteration of Touch ID, the latest generation. So there we go, that was super fast, I love it. Let's just create a simple passcode just for the time being. We're gonna set it up as a new iPad. We'll go ahead and log into our Apple ID so we can download some applications and test out the performance. All right, and so we're gonna go ahead and continue with the Express settings here. We're just gonna continue through all of these, and then we will be done with the setup. All right, so we're fully set up here on the new iPad mini, and take a look at that display. That is a 7.9-inch fully laminated Retina display with a resolution of 1536 by 2048 at 324 pixels per inch. So that's actually a pretty solid display here for such a cheap iPad. So just like with the new iPad Air, the display has the P3 wide color gamut. We also have True Tone, and it gets bright at up to 500 nits. You can see just how bright it gets when I go to full brightness. You can see there it's probably going to look bad on video, but that's going to be great for outdoor viewing. And speaking of the iPad mini versus the iPad Air, you're going to notice throughout this video just how similar this new iPad mini is to the new iPad Air. And we're going to discuss which one I think you should get later on in this video. So on the exterior of this iPad mini, we have exactly what you would expect. So on the front, of course, we have the home button, the actual physical home button with Touch ID. We have the selfie camera on the front, which does show up quite well on the white bezels. It's a little bit hard to see on the black bezels, but of course we have white bezels because we did get the silver model. And speaking of those bezels, of course, they do look terrible. The bezels are just so thick, such an outdated design. I mean, they kind of went backwards from 2018 when they released the iPad Pro with the full screen design, and now they're going back to a home button and, you know, this ugly bezels all around. I mean, I get it, they're budget options, but still, it just looks ugly and outdated. Anyways, moving on, we have the volume rockers on the right hand side. We have our power button on top, and we also have a headphone jack on the top left. Down on the bottom, we have double firing stereo speakers and our lightning port, so no USB-C, of course. We stick with lightning here. And then on the back, we have our rear facing camera, which surprisingly remains the exact same as the 2015 iPad mini with an 8 megapixel f2.4 lens, and we can only still shoot in 1080p. So Not really sure why. I guess Apple just knows that nobody uses the cameras on the iPads. I mean, especially the iPads minis, and they basically just keep the camera the same to save money. So yeah, clearly a very lackluster camera here on the new iPad mini. I mean, obviously they haven't updated it in 4 years. It's literally the exact same as the 2015 iPad mini. So kind of disappointing there. But I mean, who am I to say anything? I don't even use the camera at all on the iPads, but if you do, you will be let down by this. And of course, since I did get the silver one, you can see we have the chrome reflective Apple logo right there, which looks pretty cool. And speaking of that previous iPad mini, I actually have it right here. So this is the iPad mini 4, and this is the iPad mini 5 on the rear side. You can see pretty much everything is exactly the same. And you can see, of course, the ugly bezels still remain even 4 years later here on the iPad mini 5th generation. And speaking of that iPad mini, I just want to give you guys a quick look at these two side by side as well, since I know some people will ask about that. But the front facing camera on the iPad mini 5 and the iPad Air is exactly the same. We have a 7 megapixel camera, which of course can only shoot in 1080p. And if it seems like there really aren't that many changes, at least not important changes on the outside, that's because there's really not. Most of the changes with the new iPad mini are going to occur on the inside. And this is where we're going to see more noticeable improvements over the previous generation iPad mini. So now inside of the iPad mini 5, we have Apple's A12 Bionic chip compared to Apple's A8 chip on the previous generation. So this is going to be way faster than that 4th generation iPad mini. We also have a slight improvement to the RAM. So we went from 2 gigabytes on the 4th generation to 3 gigabytes here. We also have Bluetooth 5.0 now. So connecting to multiple devices will be easy. Your AirPods are going to pair faster. Everything's just going to be a lot quicker when it comes to Bluetooth. Now, when it comes to the battery life, it appears that we have the same battery as the 2015 4th generation iPad mini for some reason. So no improvements to the battery, but still we're going to get solid all day battery life for this iPad mini here. It's really like that for any iPad these days. So of course, since we are on iOS 12, we can multitask. So if you go ahead and open up Safari, pull up the dock and bring over, say, music, we can go ahead and multitask here, even on this small screen. I was actually worried that it would be a little bit small for multitasking, but it looks like it's actually going to be pretty solid here. Even if we had picture-in-picture going down on the bottom with the YouTube video, we can really have 3 things going at once, and it would still look good here on the iPad mini. So that's really good to see. I can't wait to play with that in real-world usage. So videos look pretty solid here on the iPad mini. I'm just watching my iPad Air unboxing and review video from just earlier today, but videos look solid on here. I've watched a few videos now, and they actually look pretty good here on the iPad mini. And I must say that I'm actually pretty impressed with the look of this screen. I thought it was going to be a more just budget looking screen, not really that good of colors. The colors weren't going to pop, but it actually looks really good, better than I thought. Now, all iPads are fingerprint magnets, both on the screen and also on the bezels, but what I actually noticed about having a white iPad here, and I haven't had a white iPad since the very first iPad, so I'm actually just now noticing this. You can't really see your fingerprints on the bezels, which is great because it looks really bad on all my other iPads sitting over there that are black, because you could just see a ton of fingerprints all over. So if you needed a reason to get the silver, there it is. So yeah, I played around with the iPad mini 5th generation here for a little bit, and it's definitely fast and fluid. Multitasking is great, games play great, the videos look great. That A12 Bionic chip is no joke. So basically, you're just getting, with the iPad mini 5th generation here, you're just getting an iPad Air in a smaller shell. And so of course that means that you cannot use the 2nd generation Apple Pencil with the new iPad mini. You will have to have the 1st generation Pencil to work. I don't know why Apple does that, but that is the case. Now here's the question you've been waiting for. Should you buy the iPad mini 5th generation? And I think that if you're in the market for a small tablet, there is nothing better than this iPad mini right here. The compact size is very convenient, and the fact that you get all of the same specs as the iPad Air and a smaller body for a cheaper price is just great. Now, of course, if you want a bigger tablet, I would look at the iPad Pro line, because that's where the best performing tablets on the market are going to be. They're pricey, but they're worth it, and they're definitely going to last a long time. I would prefer you get an iPad Pro over the regular iPad or even the iPad Air. But again, if you're looking for a smaller, more compact iPad, I would definitely go with the iPad mini. The iPad mini just blows away the Samsung and the Microsoft portable tablets out there. It's just no question. You have to go with the iPad mini if you're in the market for a small tablet. So there you have it, guys. That is my first impressions review of the brand new 2019 iPad mini 5th generation. If you guys have any questions at all about this iPad mini or any other iPads, if you're wondering which iPad you should buy, leave a comment down below and I'll try to help you out as best as I can. But if you guys enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Also, make sure you do subscribe so you can see my 3 months later review on the iPad mini right here. I will be doing a more in-depth review and, playing with it a lot more before I give another review. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching the video, and I'll see you soon.